Welcome to the Practice You podcast. My name is Elena Brower. Let's dive into today's conversation regarding life's myriad transitions and how we refine our responses in our relationships, our wellness, our households, our work, and in our practices. You are invited to learn and love and listen with me. Welcome to Practice You. Welcome back to the podcast. I have an old friend with me today, a dear one, Rocío Marte. She is a human, a woman of color. She was born in the Caribbean Dominican Republic. She's now living in Mianjin, which is the original name of Brisbane, Australia. She's a teacher. She's dedicated to finding inner resources of ease through restorative yoga, through meditation, through yoga Nidra. She's been teaching for just about a decade. I've known her for just about that long. She's building bridges with community all over the world. She is, as I said, a woman and a person of color, devoted to honoring the space her ancestors missed in pause, in claiming rest as their birthright. I really relish the opportunity to make sure that your voice and the voices of other women of color who are helping other women of color claim rest is heard. And I'm really happy to be here with you. Rocío, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you bet. So, I think one of the main sort of foci for our talk today is your rest course. And REST, R-E-S-T, stands for remember, equanimity, stillness, truth, R-E-S-T. It's a beautiful course, beautiful website. If you go to Rocío Marte, ROCIOMARTE.com, it's probably just right below wherever you're listening at this moment. This is a really beautiful 4-week training course to invite relaxation into your body and your life. Rocío, I would love to hear you talk a little bit about the origin of this course and your commitment to rest and to teaching other women to rest.
Thank you so much for your words. Rest is always something I feel that we leave for the end after we do something. And I've realized that if I bring it to the forefront and I use it as therapy, as work, it teaches me how to come back to myself over and over again. It is by checking what is it that we're avoiding to rest that the practice becomes bigger. Mm-hmm. So with this course, very intentionally, I organize the tips and tricks that I usually take on to facilitate rest for me and for the people that come to my classes. I've been teaching restorative yoga for 10 years. And I've realized that it's sitting down for a moment and just journaling about it, reflecting what's in the way that helps us to navigate and create bubble of spaces for the rest. And this 4-week training is a 4-module. You can do it almost in a day, in an afternoon, because it's 12 small, short videos of prompts or ideas for you to sit with yourself and reflect on how you already have the time to rest that is there, how you're already resting, but yet we're maybe not realizing it. For example, when I have a shower, I just have the shower. And I have a shower every day. So I don't have to schedule time to rest because rest is there, but it's being able to see it, open our eyes to it.
So beautiful. It's a whole neural terrain, the neurology of somebody at rest. Totally different terrain neurologically than it is for somebody who's feeling obliged to keep going as a way to prove worth or presence or, in some way, utility, which has been my sort of issue, but most of my life, just trying to be useful here. I'm curious to hear for you, when you discovered, uncovered, remembered your birthright to rest.
Every time that I have a yoga nidra, I feel connected. Like I come back home. And same as the shower. Unless I schedule 5, 10 minutes in the morning to meditate, I schedule 5 or 10 minutes for a practice that is called Yoga Nidra. It doesn't require much to only lying down. I usually do it with a recording. And that puts me in a place where lying down on the floor, doing nothing, or at least only receiving, I connect to something deeper and higher than me. And then I've had conversations with my mom, and I see my culture where everything is about doing and being outside and taking care of people. And I think that as a woman, pausing down to take care of myself, it's a great responsibility.
Mm.
Right now, with all the technology that we have, with all the devices that can do things for us, it's so important for me to take care of myself. And it's important to also know that taking care of ourselves, resting, is not doing other things. We have the choice, of course, we have to choose, but we go to bed every night anyway. Like, it's something that we really need. It's not a luxury.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the course, you will find small prompts. They are small in size, but then it will allow you space to go deeper on thinking or remembering a moment, calling in a space. And as you were saying, of a neurological space, what we reflect on and think on. If I think that I don't have time to rest, well, I will not, for sure. And yet, if I'm thinking, oh, a shower is already resting, having my breakfast in the morning, it's already rest. Drinking this glass of water, only drinking the water, is resting.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
will expand it. And at the end, as I say to people, and you will notice towards the end, rest is a way of meditating. Rest is only being here. That's it.
You have a beautiful quote from Oliver Burkeman from 4,000 Weeks. The more intensely he could hold his attention on the experience of whatever he was doing, the clearer it became to him that the real problem had not been the activity itself, but his internal resistance to experiencing it. When he stopped trying to block out those sensations and attended to them instead, the discomfort would evaporate. You know, I think there's a lot to remember here, and I think for our listener today and for all of us, really, the only thing we have to remember is to stop resisting the experience of the present moment. Sometimes it's really, really painful. Sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes it's absolutely wonderful. And yet we run from that too. I remember being an addict and wanting to get high, whether it was super painful or something was super wonderful. All I wanted to do was get high. Couldn't feel my feelings. Can you speak a little bit to this for yourself, Rocío, how you discovered that just feeling your feelings, being with the experience was the teaching?
It is such a big thing, feeling our feelings and being where we are. For all of us, I think the memory of 2020 seems a bit far and a bit close at the same time. Being stuck overseas as I am, without being able to fly 36 hours to get with my parents was, of course, a very big wake-up call of having to feel my feelings, having to step into truly the choices that I've made to be away from my family. And I think that the beginning of the course started there because the only practice that I could do was Yoga Nidra. And as you're saying, to be able to experience what's there, our nervous system cannot be fighting it. If we resist it, we cannot really take it in. And a state of being relaxed, being rested, being present allows us to receive what's there. Usually we're resisting something that has happened or is in the past, but in the present, what is there, to take it in as it comes. It requires this softening that we see in our teachers, in their faces, that they're okay with everything. I feel that that is rest. That looks like a good night's sleep.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. And I'd also love to know a little bit, and I think our listener would be interested in this too. Who was the first teacher who introduced you to the concept of Yoga Nidra and to rest as your birthright?
Well, I have two big teachers. The first one would be Uma Dinsmore and her whole practice around Yoga Nidra for women and creating community. And of course, Tracy Stanley.
The best.
I drink from the well of seeing myself, seeing people that look like me, celebrating naps, walks, spaces of only being, that already is the biggest symbol of success. I also take from the words of Octavia Rahim and her practice, and I feel that we are living in a great place, in a great generation. Because when I started 10 years ago, I didn't saw anyone that looked like me in a yoga room. And now that has changed. And it is very exciting.
So wonderful. Tracy and Octavia are really two of the finest teachers. Anything else that you feel our listeners should know as an introduction to you and your work prior to enjoying or considering enjoying your rest course?
Well, my main place right now in the world is to navigate the world with ease. And it's a practice that I know that will take me my entire life, because we were designed of sorts in this society to have success surrounded or valued to what we do. And rest is more about tapping into being ourselves. So I made it my devotion, my path, to find ways, resources, as this course has, video by video prompts, physical practice like restorative practice or ways of doing guidance to start taking in, thinking of, allowing more of the spaces that we already have. Maybe because of where I come from, which is a place of making resources as you go. Being Latin American makes you do with what you have. I see and invite rest as something that is already here, like a layer that I only need to peel, that it's already inside me. With the course and with the restorative yoga classes and with my yoga practices and with the coaching that I do sometimes one-on-one, we just sit together. And you as the person you already are, you're there.
Wow. I think somewhere in what you've just said is the key for all of us, which is that sort of innate knowing, the innate peacefulness, the innate restfulness. And that's what we have to keep remembering.
And that connects to the teaching of Tracy Stanley that rest is our birthright.
Yes.
If we didn't need rest, we didn't need hours of sleep every night. It wasn't essential for our well-being. And yet not always, some of us in some seasons of our life, we rest when we're sleeping.
Last question, I promise. What is lighting you up right now, Rocío? What is moving you? With whom are you studying? What are you studying? If anything, what are you practicing? I would love to hear.
Well, what is lighting me right now is that in 2 weeks, I'm going to have a 6 weeks hiatus and really, really rest and do very little. I've been away from my family for a while, and also COVID throughout the middle. That's influencing a lot how I choose. And this is the first holiday in a long time that I haven't organized anything inside of the holiday. I've only organized the tickets to get there, which I find very, very interesting, because maybe 10 years ago it would have been different. And I have an eye on going to see my teacher, Uma Dinsmore, either in Ireland or in the UK, and sit with her. Sit in a room surrounded by women, just resting, just lying down and sleeping.
Wonderful. Gosh, that makes me happy to hear. All right. So I don't want to keep you for too much longer. I'm really just very happy that we got to share with our listener this tremendous, beautiful, thoughtful course, so well wrought. It's a strong recommendation from me to work with Rocío, especially if you're in a chapter or a season of struggle. Rest might just be the perfect medicine for you. RocíoMarte.com, RocioMarte, beautiful guidebook, gatherings twice a year, 4 modules of content, 12 short, self-paced lessons, as Rocío described, a really beautiful journey through some really subtle practices. Rocío, I'm looking forward to more from you as time unfurls. I'm so happy for you that you're taking some really good, solid time for yourself. And thank you for spending a few minutes with us today. I appreciate it so much.
Well, thank you. And thank you for the space, even for your listener to sit and listen about rest is already a practice.
Yes, that's true. And lastly, really, on her site, Rocío has a 21-day meditation course too. If that is something that interests you, you can register your interest on her site and speak with her about this possibility. Just wonderful.
That's right. That's a sweet, sweet spot to sit with yourself.
Yeah.
And I sit with you for 21 days, which I think it's a gift to have someone to witness your space.
Can you describe quickly or slowly the 21-day program and how it works exactly?
Yeah, so the program is very simple. We choose a time that is okay for the person, and we sit at that time for 21 days. It's 30 minutes of a sit, and we're there with the technology of Zoom, so that depending on the day, we organize the meditation. I guide it, but we have a conversation, usually have gentle stretches before the sitting, and it's not a catch up with me, but a catch up for the person with themselves. I just make the space available to sit with what's there. I've done it many times, and one of the people that I've had the privilege to share with, she was a book editor, and it helped her so much at the end of the day to have those 30 minutes to sit with herself. Like, it helps in moments of creation. You have those 30 minutes for yourself that I'm there with you. We sit in silence. We have moment at the beginning, moment at the end. But it's a moment for you that you're accounted for. I'm there with you.
I love this for people who, have experienced the benefits of meditation, but really just can't make it happen for themselves, to have you to be accountable to and to meet with. That's a very good idea. I really like this.
And we try different things, of course, because you can talk to the person that is there. Usually when you meditate with a recording, you cannot say, oh, but my leg hurts. Oh, but this was tricky. So we can tweak it in a way that at the end of the 21 days, you have a technique that works for you, because we're able to talk about it, change it, modify it. We add breath work. We add, as I said, some stretches. And what I do is I record the 21 days for you. As soon as it finishes, I send it to you and I delete it from my data so that you also have it for the future to work on with yourself.
Genius. That's really good. Really smart. I'm glad you thought of that. Okay. I'll let you be. Thank you so much, Rocío, for coming in. Thank you for talking with me. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your commitment, particularly to women of color, but to all of us, for helping us remember ourselves and our equanimity. I really appreciate you, love you, miss you, wishing you a really amazing 6 weeks off. And thank you so much again.
Thank you so much, E. And I hope that we will be able to see each other soon, somewhere.
God willing. Oh my goodness. Thank you again, sister.
Big kiss.
You too.